Welcome to Sfa Now. My name is Tegan Mingo, and joining us today is Stephanie Guajardo, Vice President of SFA's League of United Latin American Citizens. We will be talking about what LULAC is and how it brings the Latin culture closer together. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I have a few questions for you today. Because I was like, I need. Welcome to SFA Now. My name is Tegan Mingo, and joining us today is Stephanie Guajardo, Vice President of SFA's League of United Latin American Citizens. We will be talking about what LULAC is and how it brings the Latin culture closer together. Hi, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I have a few questions for you today. So, how did you become an officer for LULAC?
So for me, well, in general for LULAC, any and all officers are both nominated and elected by the whole council for any of the positions. But since we technically found LULAC here at SFA, the officers were really just like the first people to come in. So we were the founding members and officers of LULAC.
Okay. What would you say is LULAC's main purpose?
So for me, our main purpose, diversity and equality, that's like the main goal. But the way that we do LULAC is we strive for everyone to just know what's going on in the world, to know their civil rights, know their own rights here in Texas and in the whole nation in general, as well as making sure everyone's getting like the right test that they need to be taking, know where to go to get that help, as well as, getting like the highest education that they possibly can. And it's really hard if you don't know exactly what to do. So that's what LULAC strives to help other people gain.
So kind of guidance for students, everyone who's involved. Gotcha. About how many members are first-generation students? How do you think LULAC has helped them on their college journey?
I know in our council we have 45 members, and about 20, maybe a little bit more of that, are first-generation students. And I think having that many people in an organization alone just makes a first-generation student feel not so alone in their problems, so they have people to go talk to. If like maybe they don't know this, they can go to anyone else in the council that might know what they're doing, or especially since the other half aren't first-generation students, they kind of already know how to do a process, so they can also go to them.
Sure. Is there anything you wish people knew about the struggles of being a first-generation student?
I think one of the hardest things, aside from doing it, I like being in school, is probably the FAFSA process. The application is lengthy, and for someone who's doing it for the first time, it's really hard not knowing what questions to ask your parents, because if your parents aren't from here, they're not going to know what you're talking about. So, having those people that aren't first-generation students, they can help you trying to fill out the application. But aside from the FAFSA, there's also the fact that they have to do their first year here, and they're kind of on their own. And it's really hard because they don't know what loans to get, what loans to steer clear from, or what classes to take, or is this going to benefit me when I'm trying to graduate. So that's probably one of the hardest things for the first generation students, is actually doing it the first year alone.
I know, that
Yeah.
it's literally going in blind, so I can kind of understand that one really well. What does it take to be able to attend national LULAC conventions, and how do you fundraise for that?
So for national LULAC conventions, they're actually really, really helpful. I know the first one that we went to was in DC back in February, and we have to fundraise for it, and right now we do fundraise it for ourselves. So we go out and we can go to businesses, we can go to small shops or to your family, and we can ask, hey, I would really love to go to this, and this is what it's for, and then they donate money. But we also have a really nicely written out donation letter, and that's thanks to one of our members, Karina. She actually wrote it out for us, and it explains everything that we're trying to gain from going to a conference, and it shows how much we're going to be spending and how much they would like to donate, and it really helps because it spells it out for the person, just as long as you go out there and actually try to get that money.
What do you gain from, I already said that, my bad.
Oh, I don't think I answered
no.
that part yet.
What do you gain from going to these conventions, and how does that help you gain knowledge for LULAC?
So the first conference we went to was back in DC, and honestly, it was nothing that I expected. LULAC was something that I joined. I wasn't exactly sure what it was entirely about, but in going to those conferences, you kind of see the whole entire basis of it, because the one in DC, that's the Emerge conference, and that's advocacy training, getting policy briefings and all of that, and you actually, it's councils from around the nation that meet up in DC, and I think when we went, it was actually about maybe 7 to 10 different states that were there, and so you get to meet a lot of people, gain new ideas from every other council, as well as network and maybe get future sponsorships from people there.
What do you gain from going to these conventions, and how does that help you gain knowledge for LULAC?
So back in February when we went to our first conference, which was the Emerge conference, it was definitely nothing from what I expected it to be. When you go to Emerge, it's a lot of policy briefings, advocacy training, so you gain a lot of knowledge in what LULAC is really based on and what we strive to work for as a council, as an organization itself, nationwide. And the good thing about going to all those conferences is you meet a lot of people there from different councils from around the states. So I think there was about 7 to 10 different councils from different states that we got to meet, and we actually got to talking with, and we got a lot of ideas for new things to do here, new fundraisers, new events to make here, and you also get to meet a lot of the old LULAC members, which are the older generations, and you get to meet potential sponsors for future conferences, to maybe sponsors for maybe shirts or just the trips themselves.
So basically, you're just nationwide reaching out to different
Yeah.
communities. Got it. That's actually really good. What challenges did you face as a club, starting out to becoming the first LULAC club at SFA?
I think the one thing we were all most worried about is, in order to be a chartered council, I believe you have to have at least 10 members. I think it could be more, 10 to 15 members. And the one thing I know we were worried about is getting those members, and I think we actually wound up getting 30 members from just tabling outside, those first few weeks of school last year. And ever since then, it's just been growing, and it's just so amazing seeing how much people really put in their work and their effort into a council that a lot of them didn't know or haven't heard of LULAC before until we actually came to SFA, or some of them were oh, I was in LULAC in high school. I'm so happy this school has this. So it's something nice for them to come to.
So it's definitely like something old and something new for
Yeah.
everybody around here. That's actually really good. How do you think LULAC impacts the diversity on campus?
I know that there are other like Latin organizations, and it's nice having more options like to go to instead of just like the one that there is, like, oh well, I have to join this one because that's the only one there is. Well, no, now there's LULAC, so you have like more options, and you can be in both, and you can be doing two different things, and it just brings people together. And even though it does say Latin in our name, our council here at SFA, the one thing we stress is that we are diverse. Like, you don't have to be Latin to join. You don't have to know the culture to join. You can join to know about it, to learn about it, and to just surround yourself with people from very different backgrounds and like get to know all those different things.
Sure. What organizations have you guys worked with in the past?
We've definitely worked with SAA, and I think SAA is one of the organizations that we've only worked with. I know we're planning on, reaching out to more organizations this next semester because this semester is almost over. But I know we want to reach out to Pride NAC because LULAC nationwide, there's like a LULAC Pride, Luton Afro-Latinos, there's various different kinds, and we want to reach out to all those other organizations.
How does working with other organizations help LULAC?
It gets our name out there. I know the event that we did with SAA, it really brought more attention to us because our name was on the flyers and on the t-shirts, and we got to speak at the event. So it's a lot of opportunity for us to like also spread our word and let people know that we're here, because a lot of them don't know that we're here. And it could be that they had it like back home when they were in high school, or even like since they were toddlers. And so it's nice that our name is getting more out there.
Where do you hope to see LULAC in the future?
I definitely, most recently we won both National and State Council of the Year, and so I definitely hope to see more of those awards coming out, for sure.
What would you say to those thinking about joining LULAC?
I would say join. It's such a great council, and the people are amazing. Everyone's like a tight-knit family in that council. We are all comfortable. Well, I like to think that we're all comfortable to speak our own minds and to have our own opinions on things, because it's okay to have different opinions. Like, it's also nice to be able to talk about it freely without, arguing or instantly bashing someone for something.
So I just found out about LULAC actually yesterday when I came to support your event. So I definitely loved it, and I actually was like, okay, I like to learn different cultures. So for someone, I guess like me, because sometimes I get a little discouraged joining like different communities. I guess basically, how would you see me fitting into yours?
You would definitely fit in. Like I said, everyone fits in. Like our council here is very diverse. You can see it and think, no, that's not really diverse, but like,
it's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole council itself, there's a lot of different backgrounds, and it's not just like Hispanics. We have I'm sure we have Salvadorians in there, and it's different cultures. Like, even though we are Spanish speaking, it's way different cultures than you'd think they are. And anyone is always free to join. Like, we're literally like one big family with open arms, waiting for people to come to us and also learn about their cultures that we don't know about.
That's true. So it's basically a fusion, just how I guess America is. We're
Yeah.
a big melting pot. So basically, it's showing it here. What did she say? I'm sorry. Basically,
Having everyone blend in together.
yeah, everyone blending in together. On top of that, I apologize. Okay. So basically, I don't know. Like, you're saying it started in high.
Yeah, LULAC, okay, so there's a lot of different stages of LULAC. For any of my members watching this, I'm sorry, I'm not going to get this right. It always slips my mind, but there are LULAC councils, like, starting at high school, and I know one of our founding members, she was the founding vice president, Karina, she's been in it literally all her life, and LULAC actually started in Corpus Christi, which is where she's from, so she was a part of Council 1, which was the first council. So it's definitely starts at like an early age. It could start at an early age, but for some, they won't know about LULAC until they get to that collegiate level, which is college, and it's fine. Like everyone starts out whenever they start out. And it's just nice gaining that knowledge from like older members and like passing that on to newer members, and so they can pass on to newer members, and it's just really nice seeing that evolve.
Especially because they had a first look versus
Yeah.
them just being like, okay, we're just going to make it here during at a university versus going to a high school
Yeah.
and everything like that. So basically, what separates LULAC from other colleges that have it from here at SFA?
Like,
Oh,
what-
sorry, let me reword that. Okay, sorry. What separates LULAC here at SFA from, say, like a different college like A&M or a Texas Tech organization their version of LULAC?
Well, I think the difference is probably that LULAC is nationwide, like it's known, and we've recently been on the news, and we go, like I remember in February when we went to DC, we actually went to Capitol Hill and we advocated for like the Dreamers, and we actually spoke to some of the people and to see their viewpoints and see what they're planning to do and how they're going to fix this and all of that. So that's probably one of the differences, that we actually get out there and, you know, advocate for ourselves and for other cultures as well.
Gotcha. Thank you for joining us today.